and we don't want to not record it. Okay, so we're recording. So for everybody who's on right now, hopefully we have some prospective members on who need questions answered about joining Phi Theta Kappa. And hopefully we have some officers and current members in the room who can talk a little bit about their experience and type it in the chat box. So before we go around and introduce ourselves, I do want to make sure I give a few house rules. So for anybody who's not familiar with Zoom, the only way you can get our attention is if you type into the chat box or the Q&A box. So the four of us cannot see or hear you. You can see and hear us. So in order to get our attention, you can type into the Q&A box and ask a question. You can raise your hand virtually, and you'll see that if you look at the bottom taskbar of Zoom, or you can type into the chat box. So I would love for everyone who's in the room to go ahead and welcome yourselves, say hello, introduce yourselves in the chat box, say what school and chapter you're from, and we can get some dialogue going. That would be great. I see one person already chimed into the chat box. Hello, thanks for joining us. Go ahead and type into the chat box your name and where you're from, and we will get going in a few moments. Woohoo, we have 26 people in the room. Keep them coming. Okay, so while everybody's introducing themselves in the chat box, I'll go ahead and let my colleagues introduce themselves. I'll mute myself. And Melissa, do you mind introducing yourself first?
Not at all. My name is Melissa Price. I am the Membership Services Senior Specialist, Division 2. Welcome. Excited to be here. And Erica, do you want to go next?
Good afternoon. My name is Erica Bold, and I am the Membership Services Receptionist. I am glad to be here. This is my first webinar, so bear with me.
Hey guys, my name is Ryan Adams. I'm actually a student. I'm at Midland College in Midland, Texas. I'm in the Alpha Beta Phi chapter, and I serve as our chapter's president, have for the past year just about. So I'm excited to be here today. Hopefully we can provide you guys with some helpful information, whether this is your first time hearing about Phi Theta Kappa, or perhaps you're just seeking some tools to keep in your toolbox for reference later on. We hope that today will be a success, and that you will find that this is something that can really help you and that question of why accept membership in Phi Theta Kappa. So I'm just happy to be here with you guys. Hope you guys are all having a great afternoon.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys joining me. For everyone in the room, I want to make sure I say this. So for your questions, please post your questions in the Q&A box, and we will be happy to either type you a response or answer aloud during the webinar. You really want to reserve the chat box for just comments, and reserve your questions for the Q&A box. So for any questions about membership or Phi Theta Kappa, use the Q&A box, and really use the chat box to say hello or say where you're from or anything else other than questions. So I also want to make sure I say that for any questions we don't get to, do not fear. We get a transcript of all questions from the Q&A and the chat, and we will follow up with you via email if there's any question that you ask and we happen to not answer or not get to. So hopefully you all ask questions. This is a great opportunity. These are the people you want to ask, because we all work in membership, and Ryan has such vast experience as a chapter officer and a member, and he's done it all. So this is the right group of people. Okay, I will go ahead and share my screen so that we can progress through the PowerPoint I have here. Give me 1 second. Can I get a thumbs up from the panelists if you can see my PowerPoint right now? Okay, great. So I am happy to talk to you today about accepting membership in Phi Theta Kappa. So what is the mission of Phi Theta Kappa? The mission of Phi Theta Kappa is to recognize the academic achievement of college students and provide opportunities for them to grow as scholars and leaders. So our mission has really stayed the same for almost 100 years. We just turned 100 years old. We just celebrated our centennial, whoop whoop, in Kansas City, Missouri. We had almost 5,000 attendees at our centennial celebration. And our mission is to recognize your achievements. You've worked hard. You've earned a really high GPA. You're in the top percentage of your students at your college. And we want to recognize and honor you. But also, we want to give you opportunities to grow professionally and to grow as a student. So that's really our goal at Phi Theta Kappa, is to provide you the access to grow as a scholar and leader and to recognize you for all of the hard work that you've put in. So who is Phi Theta Kappa? Melissa and I always kind of go back and forth about this because whenever someone asks the question like, well, what does the average Phi Theta Kappa member look like? It sounds corny and cheesy, but I always say that you should look in the mirror because the average Phi Theta Kappa student is any of us. So it's important to know that anyone has the potential to be a Phi Theta Kappa member. We do have some stats that really speak to the accomplishments and success of Phi Theta Kappa students. So I do want to point those out. So who is Phi Theta Kappa? 68% of Phi Theta Kappa members complete a bachelor's degree or higher. 91% of Phi Theta Kappans have 91% completion or transfer rate. And what does that mean? That means that if you complete or transfer, that means that you're graduating from the community or technical college, or you're transferring to a four-year university, or you're just entering the workforce upon finishing at the two-year level. And Phi Theta Kappans have a 91% rate in completion and transfer, which is awesome. We do have a few of our top majors listed here. Those include business, political science, nursing, liberal arts, science and technology, English and psychology, and really we run the full gamut of majors. We are not limited to a certain major. We do get that question sometimes. Some students often ask, is Phi Theta Kappa limited to a certain discipline? Absolutely not. You can be any major and become eligible to be a member of Phi Theta Kappa. Okay, where is Phi Theta Kappa? So Phi Theta Kappa is an international honor society. We are in 50 states and 9 nations. And fun fact, I'll ask if you know where the Phi Theta Kappa headquarters Center for Excellence is located. Please put your best guess in the chat box because I ask this question all the time and no one knows where headquarters is located. So we'll see what comes up in the chat box so I can see if anyone knows where Phi Theta Kappa headquarters is located. Oh, someone got it already. Melissa and Kay, yes. So headquarters is in Jackson, Mississippi. I am in Jackson, Melissa is in Jackson, and Erica, we're all based in Jackson, Mississippi. And this is the Center for Excellence, and we service all 50 states and 9 nations. So Phi Theta Kappa, as you can see in the map here, is broken up into 4 divisions. Division 1 is representative of the Northeast corridor of the US. Division 2, which is Melissa's division, is basically the southern portion of the US. Division 3 is sort of central USA, and Division 4 is the west coast of the US. So we have 4 divisions, and we have a staff member here who's solely devoted to your division. So we have different regions that make up each division. We have 29 regions, so when you become a Phi Theta Kappa member, you become a member of your chapter, you become a member of your region, and you become a member of the International Honor Society. So it's kind of fun if you're a prospective member now to take a look at the map and locate what division you're in based on where you're located in the US. If you're in Division 2, you're lucky. Melissa's on here right now, and she is the staff person devoted to all things Division 2. So take a moment, look at the map, and see where you're located. Hopefully the questions are coming in. I hope that you all are really asking questions in the Q&A box and chiming in the chat box.
Hey, Aariel, we have a common question, that you and I get a lot of times on our live, and I thought you might want to go ahead and address it. And they're asking about the membership, if it's a one-time fee, and then what if their GPA drops. So we get this a lot. It's a common question, so I thought you might want to just address it to the whole group.
I will gladly address that. So that brings me to my next slide. Am I eligible to join Phi Theta Kappa? So this will answer a lot of questions, I think, about membership eligibility and paying the membership fee. Okay, so you have to be invited to join Phi Theta Kappa. And in order to be invited, you have to meet the eligibility criteria of your local chapter. So we have about 1,300 chapters at different community and technical colleges throughout the nation. So if you are attending a college where there's a local chapter, if you're eligible, you'll receive an invitation either via email or mail inviting you to join. And typically, the eligibility criteria are as follows. And I say typically because each chapter has its own criteria for inviting students. So at one chapter, the eligibility GPA may be a 3.5. At another chapter, the eligibility GPA may be a 3.6 or a 3.7. But in general, in order to be eligible for Phi Theta Kappa membership, you need to have a 3.5 GPA, and you need to have completed at least 12 hours of coursework that may be applied to an associate's degree program. So 3.5 GPA, 12 hours of college credit that may be applied to an associate's degree program. Like I said, every chapter is a little bit different. So the best resource for any prospective member joining us is to contact their local chapter advisor. And you may be wondering, well, who is that person? That person's not on the webinar right now, so how do I contact that person? An easy tool that we always refer people to is ptk.org/advisor search. And Melissa or Erica, if you can type that into the chat box, it's ptk.org/advisor search. You can go to that URL and you can search by your state and by your college and find exactly the advisor who is a faculty or staff person on your campus. This is not a made up person. This person is a real faculty or staff person on your campus. Go to ptk.org/advisor search and you'll be able to see the phone number, email, and name of your chapter advisor. So if you think you are interested in joining and haven't been invited, reach out to your local chapter advisor and find out what you need to do. And if you have received an invitation to join, that means you're eligible. Hopefully that answers a lot of questions that we have. Also about the membership fee. We get this question like every hour, maybe every hour. I don't know. Erica could probably nod in agreement. She's like, yes, we get it every hour. Okay, so the membership fee to join Phi Theta Kappa is a one-time fee. You pay one time. You do not pay every year. You do not pay every 6 months. You pay the membership fee one time. I do want to say that the membership fee depends on what chapter you're located in. So we have an international fee, a regional fee, and a local fee. And you pay all of those together. The international fee is $60. The regional fee depends on what region you're in. That could be $5, that could be $10. It depends on what region you're located in. And the same goes with the local chapter fee. The local chapter fee depends on what chapter you're in. So you're going to pay a one-time fee that consists of the $60 international fee plus whatever the regional and local fee is. You pay it one time, it is not annual, and you are a member for life. We say it's a one-time, lifetime membership. I hope that answers and clarifies any questions you all have about that.
Hey, Aariel, I think I'd like to say something with respect to the membership fee. This is a common question, and I think you're right to consider, why should I have to pay up front for something that I don't even really know what I'm getting myself into? And what I like to tell people is that this is legitimately an investment in yourself and in your future. And so for such a small, $80, $90, whatever it might be, as we talk a bit more about the programming offered by Phi Theta Kappa as a member, I hope you guys will realize that what little you have to give up front yields a return that pays dividends, for as far as you could imagine. And so if the membership fee is a means of discouragement, or maybe that's a place where you feel like you're on the fence, don't let that turn you away from this, because truly it's worth every penny you could have to expend. And I hope that as we continue on, you guys will start to see that to be the case.
Thank you so much, Ryan. That's really important to say, because we understand the reality of being in college and working and not having a lot of expendable income to devote to things. We understand that it may seem like a financial strain, but believe me, the payoff is there. On average, a Phi Theta Kappa member will receive about $2,500 in scholarships. And some members receive a lot more than that. So you pay one time, and it's a lifetime membership fee. I do want to say that lots of colleges have programs that will help support you in paying for your membership fee. So if affordability is a concern for you, my best advice is to go talk to the advisor of your local chapter. Ask that advisor if there are any programs on campus or programs that your college foundation offers that would help support membership in this organization. I also want to say that we have something called the Golden Opportunity Scholarship. The Golden Opportunity Scholarship is a membership fee waiver that will cover the $60 international membership fee, and that leaves you only the regional and local fee to pay. So the $60 fee is covered by the Golden Opportunity Scholarship. In order to receive the Golden Opportunity Scholarship, you actually have to be nominated by the advisor on your campus, which is yet another reason to go talk to your local chapter advisor, mention the Golden Opportunity Scholarship, and see what your advisor can do for you. So either your college or your chapter may have programs in place that will help support your membership, or you may want to ask your advisor to be considered as a Golden Opportunity Scholarship recipient. So keep that in mind, because we do understand that it is an investment. Like Ryan said, it's an investment in your future. And we just hope that you all take the leap and really see what the benefits of membership can do for you. Okay, I'll go ahead to our next slide, common reasons for not accepting membership. So these are probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the top 5 reasons we hear every single day at headquarters, because lots of people will call us and say, this is probably the one I hear the most: I don't have any time to devote to Phi Theta Kappa. Why would I join an organization I don't have time to be involved in? Here's the thing. You can become a member of Phi Theta Kappa and not go to, the local chapter meetings. That's not what we encourage, and we want you to make the most out of your membership, but you won't get kicked out of the organization if you don't go to a meeting or you don't go to a local chapter event or a regional event. You get out of Phi Theta Kappa what you put into Phi Theta Kappa. So for students who are juggling a lot in an academic term, they have a job, they're taking, 16 hours, they have a family, and there's literally not much time to devote to going to service events or chapter meetings. I would still encourage you to join, because you do not have to attend those events. That's totally optional. You get a lot out of it by attending those events, but that is not mandatory. So I just want to stress that You get out of Phi Theta Kappa what you put into it. If you have the time to devote to going to those events, awesome. But if not, it is okay. Another common reason that we hear for wavering on accepting membership or joining is, I've never heard of Phi Theta Kappa, or is this legitimate? What is this organization emailing me? Is this scam? Is this a scam? We hear that all the time. And the first thing that comes out of my mouth is Phi Theta Kappa is a real thing. We really work in Jackson. We are real people. We are the oldest and largest honor society serving the 2-year community and technical college sector. We are 100 years old. Another thing I do is I always tell people, if you want to know more about Phi Theta Kappa, go to our Facebook page, go to our Instagram page, go to our Twitter page, go to ptk.org. We have so many resources available to you so that you can learn more about what Phi Theta Kappa is. I'll also just say you can give us a call between 8:30 and 5 Central Time, Monday through Friday, and we will be happy to answer your questions. And if someone can type the number in the chat box, that would be great. But it is 800-946-9995. I think I've said that so many times recently, it just rolls off my tongue now, which is great. You can also email us at help@ptk.org. So call us, email us if you have questions about Phi Theta Kappa. Please just ask us. You can ask your local chapter advisor, or you can ask any of the staff members who work at headquarters in Jackson. Another reason that we often hear is I cannot afford it, which is why I spent some time talking about what options you have if affordability is a concern. You definitely want to mention the Golden Opportunity Scholarship to your advisor, and you definitely want to ask your advisor if the college or the chapter has any programs in place that will support your membership. Ryan, I'd love for you to chime in here if you have any experience about with other members or yourself about whether to accept membership or not, or if you thought it was a real thing when you were invited.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I guess I'd like to begin with the first statement you guys see there, talking about I have little time, or I don't have time, and I get it. You know, Phi Theta Kappa members, it goes without saying, are likely some of the busiest people on a community college campus, just by nature. I mean, we're involved in school, we work, many people have families, as Aariel mentioned. And one of the most inspiring things, though, about membership in Phi Theta Kappa is that it can't be put into a box. And so everyone's different, and that's what makes us stronger, and that's what makes the programs that we'll mention later on so great, because we have a host of perspectives and people in different places in life. And there's nothing more beautiful than that. So if you find yourself on the fence about, well, I don't know if I fit the mold, let me just encourage you by saying there isn't a mold. And just say yes, really, just say yes. Another thing, I know time is money, right? Time is so important as students, as professionals, as people. But like Aariel mentioned, quite honestly, perhaps none of us have enough time, but we make time, and it's worth it. And so even if it requires trying to jumble your schedule or having to learn to be flexible, you'll find that upon joining, it's not for no reason, and it doesn't go in vain. So if anything, you'll be just introduced to people who will be happy to help you and find a way to network and collaborate so that everyone benefits. And then lastly, again, like Aariel mentioned, the affordability thing. Before you decide to let that be a reason to deter you, seek out all possibilities. Talk to your chapter advisor on your campus, contact headquarters. There are lots of people in place to help you make something or formulate a plan in order to make sure that membership fee is not a deterrence. And if anything, again, seek more information before you just decide to say no, because truly, this is one of the best things you can do during your time at community college.
And also, just to add on to that, there's another point. I am about to transfer. Membership into Phi Theta Kappa is lifelong, regardless of if you continue at the community college in which you joined, or if you transfer to a four-year university, or if you transfer to another community college. Just as Aariel stated earlier, once a Phi Theta Kappa member, always a Phi Theta Kappa member, regardless. If you are going to another community college, you have the option of transferring membership. It is not a requirement. However, you do have that option. So do not let that be a reason that you do not join. You can still join once you receive the invitation at the college in which you received the invitation from.
I appreciate y'all, because once Ryan said, if you're worried about whether you fit the mold, there is no mold. I just wanted to jump up and down, because that is so true. There's no mold. Any one of you who works hard and puts that effort in can become a Phi Theta Kappa member. So I just want to reiterate, really consider, we know that it's an investment. And we get that question a lot about, I'm about to transfer. Like Erica said, that's probably, it's up there among the reasons that people will give for not wanting to join. But like Erica said, once you're a member for life. And even if you're about to transfer to a four-year school, we have membership benefits that will really benefit you as a professional, as a working professional, and at the four-year university that I will be glad to talk about a little bit later on in the PowerPoint. So just keep those things in mind and ask us questions. That's what we're here for. Okay, so the Phi Theta Kappa structure, just to give you guys a little bit of background, there's an international level, there's a regional level, and there's a local level. Kind of like I described the membership fees. There's an international fee, a regional fee, and a local fee. And that's because Phi Theta Kappa is separated into three levels. So at the international level, we have the international officers, we have Phi Theta Kappa staff, and we have our board of directors. So Phi Theta Kappa staff, you're looking at 3 members of the Phi Theta Kappa staff right here. Most of us work in Jackson, Mississippi, and some of us telecommute and live in all parts of the U.S. Our international officers are student positions. They're the highest level of student positions one can hold in Phi Theta Kappa as a member. We just inducted or welcomed into Phi Theta Kappa our brand new international officers, and those were chosen at our Catalyst celebration in Kansas City, Missouri. So we have a president, and then we have a VP of every division. So in division 1, 2, 3, and 4, there's a vice president of that division. And they actually come to headquarters about 4 times a year and get training. They go to orientation. They get professional development, and it's truly like an executive level internship that these students will go through. At the regional level, we have a regional coordinator, we have regional officers, and we have a regional advisory board. So as I said earlier when we were looking at the map, we have 29 regions in Phi Theta Kappa. So every region has an advisor who's the regional coordinator and sort of oversees all of the states and chapters in that region. We also have a regional officer team, and those officers are students, and they run for regional office so that they can partake in the regional level activities, whether that's a conference on leadership or an honors programming conference or a service project. Those students will preside over the region. And then the local level is really where the heart and soul of Phi Theta Kappa is. The local level is at your college. So every college that we have a chapter at is considered the local level of Phi Theta Kappa. And there's a chapter advisor there, and that's your faculty or your staff person on campus. And there are chapter officers. Ryan is the chapter president of his chapter. He's also run for international office, and so he offers a ton of insight on all of these things. And Ryan, I'll ask you a little bit later to chime in about your experience. But those are the 3 levels of structure at Phi Theta Kappa. Okay, so involvement. Involvement is, again, what you put into it is what you get out of it. So there are a ton of ways to be involved in Phi Theta Kappa. It starts at the very beginning. Most chapters will have an induction ceremony. So once you're invited to become a member and you join, typically every academic term, some chapters do it once a year, but a lot of chapters will do it every single term. They'll have an induction ceremony where it's a formal recognition of you becoming a Phi Theta Kappa member. It's really a special occasion. I had the honor and privilege of attending a couple here in Mississippi, and it's such a heartwarming experience because family and friends come and they really recognize you for all of the hard work you've put in as a Phi Theta Kappa member. New member orientation, a lot of chapters will have orientation sessions for Phi Theta Kappa members so that new members can really figure out what they can do to maximize the benefits of membership. And then there's a ton of fellowship and service events at every local chapter. And every chapter runs itself a little bit differently. So again, the best resource for you is to contact your local chapter advisor so you can find out exactly what sort of events and service projects happen at your chapter. I do want to make sure I mention this item on the next bullet, competitive edge. So competitive edge is one way that members who may be about to transfer or about to graduate can really maximize the benefits of membership. Competitive Edge is an online, self-paced professional development program. And so it's really one of those benefits that really supports students who are entering the workforce because it allows students to build their soft skills, it gives them resume building tips, and it's really a resource that will cater to your professional development. So even students who are about to graduate or about to enter the workforce and wonder what sort of membership benefits there are for them, one of the first things I always say is check out Competitive Edge. That is something that's an invaluable resource and that many of our staff here have even progressed through and have really benefited from. Collegefish.org is another opportunity for members to engage. Collegefish.org is a database, and we call it sort of like a match.com because when you're on collegefish.org, you can sort of determine what four-year school or university has a transfer scholarship that may be applicable to you. So you fill in your demographics, you put in your interests, your location, your GPA, and collegefish.org will match you to transfer scholarships at various four-year schools. One of the great things about Phi Theta Kappa is access to scholarships. So this is not a joke. So we partner with about 750 four-year schools, four-year universities all over the nation, and they offer Phi Theta Kappa scholarships to Phi Theta Kappa members. So those four-year universities, about 750 universities, will administer scholarships exclusively to Phi Theta Kappa members. So collegefish.org is one resource you can use to figure out how you can use your membership to transfer to a school that offers some scholarships to Phi Theta Kappa members. And then finally, another way to be involved is to serve as a chapter officer. And Ryan, I'd love for you to chime in and tell us about, one, your experience as a chapter president, and then two, a little bit about just running for international office and what that experience was like.
Absolutely, Aariel. I'd be happy to do that. When I first joined Phi Theta Kappa, I was aware of what I was getting myself into, more or less. But I immediately recognized that I wanted to serve as a chapter officer. And I sat down with my chapter advisors and we talked about it. And I said, here's my intention. How do we proceed? And so they informed me of the procedure, which looks probably a little bit different depending on the chapter. And so I was able to give us a short speech, if you will. It was really just a statement of my vision or my goals or maybe even my credentials to my chapter members at a meeting. We took a vote, and that was that. And it's been a whirlwind of an experience since, but it's been such a wonderpul opportunity. Truly, I believe that Phi Theta Kappa, I mean, part of the mission statement is to recognize the academic success, but also to give students opportunities to further expand that success and to really mold it and apply it in different contexts. And student leadership is one of those. And so if you have any remote desire to become a better leader, to try your hand at leadership, to learn something, or maybe just to prove yourself, being a chapter officer is a really great way to do that, because Phi Theta Kappa has given you a safe space to learn, and a safe space to make, perhaps make mistakes, but learn from them along the way, and do it in a context that's educational. And truly, there's been nothing greater than that. I've got to meet so many wonderful people. I've gotten to sit down and visit with college administrators and professors and people that I might not have ever had any opportunity to sit down and visit with, about things that matter, about ways to make our campus better, our community better, talking about issues that are difficult to address, but with the means of trying to formulate something meaningful out of it. So again, so many opportunities to push yourself out of the comfort zone as a chapter officer. Aariel mentioned our centennial celebration. It was just about 2.5, 3 weeks ago in Kansas City. And at that conference, several of us, 36 candidates actually, decided to run for international office. That experience, if you can take your chapter officer experience and magnify it on a whole nother level, that is what it means to run and to take on that task of running as an international officer candidate. More than anything, it was a tremendous opportunity to just consistently be reminded of what Phi Theta Kappa does for people. And that is that it'll change your life. It'll change the way that you view yourself, the way that you view your strengths and your weaknesses. I had so many conversations with members and people from all parts of the US and beyond who had a similar story. And it was that this is how I was before I joined Phi Theta Kappa, and this is how I am now. And let me tell you, I mean, that's just what it is. And it does that for every person that I think I've ever visited with about it. And so if you have any interest, again, student leadership on a really large scale, international office is a great opportunity. The prospect is high, whether you win or whether you don't. You will learn something from it. You'll gain something from it. And you'll be able to give, I think, a great deal to other people, which in turn benefits everyone. So it is truly a very fond experience.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Ryan. I don't think I know I couldn't have said it any better. So I appreciate you for just being so candid and forthcoming with that. I will move along to some of our additional benefits, and we talked about some of these already. So scholarships, we do partner, like I said, with 750 four-year universities, and we offer about $37 million worth of transfer scholarships, and we offer access to more than 90 million in scholarships. So I mentioned that we partner with schools that offer transfer scholarships. Phi Theta Kappa also offers its own scholarships. So we have scholarships that will help you matriculate at your community or technical college now. So we absolutely, just one of the most significant benefits of membership is access to scholarships, whether you're transferring to a four-year school or whether you need, scholarship funding now to help support your journey in school now. One of the neat things about the scholarships that Phi Theta Kappa administers is that the funding goes directly to the student. And so the student actually can use the Phi Theta Kappa scholarship funding for any educational purpose. And so it's sort of a good thing so that you can decide how to spend the scholarship funding that comes to you as a Phi Theta Kappa member. So once you're a Phi Theta Kappa member, we have scholarship applications that open up. We have a scholarship application that actually the deadline was May 1st and it was extended to this Friday, May 4th, at 5 p.m. Central Time. So if anybody is joining us and they're interested in scholarships, we do have a scholarship application for the spring open now, and the deadline has been extended to May 4th. We talked a little bit about the international event, which is PTK Catalyst, and that's our international convention. And we talked a little bit about being in Kansas City. We started out in Missouri in 1918, so we celebrated our 100th year back in Missouri. And it's honestly one of the most energetic, passionate, once-in-a-lifetime events that you will probably go to. This past April, a couple of weeks ago, we had about 5,000 members, college administrators, advisors, all convened in Kansas City. We pretty much took Kansas City over. Everywhere you looked around the convention center, I kid you not, you would see a Phi Theta Kappa sign or banner or something that said Phi Theta Kappa was in the building. We also offer regional conferences. So like I said, we have 29 regions, and every region will offer events throughout the year that support members. That could be a conference on leadership. That could be a conference on Honors in Action and College Project, which are two huge components of Phi Theta Kappa. And just briefly, Honors in Action is an opportunity for you to engage in research as an undergraduate student. It allows you to really pick a topic based on our honors study guide and delve into doing research about the topic economically, financially, culturally, and put together a submission that you submit to us. The College Project is a little bit similar, but on that one, you partner with your administrators at your college to determine what sort of initiative might best benefit your college. And so those are two components of Phi Theta Kappa that really make a difference, not only for you, but for your college campus and for your community. We also offer, and these seem like, small things, but they make a big difference. So we offer letters of recommendation. So as a Phi Theta Kappa member, you can go online to ptk.org. And as a member benefit in the member tools section, you can click on letter of recommendation, and we will happily process a letter of recommendation on your behalf. So if you are applying to a four-year school or you're applying for a job and you need a letter of recommendation, if you're a Phi Theta Kappa member, we can do that for you. We also partner with organizations and companies such as Geico, and we have very practical membership benefits in that regard because we partner with Geico and they offer discounts on insurance. So, whether it's the more practical benefits, the leadership benefits, the scholarship access, Phi Theta Kappa membership benefits really are vast, and I'm sure there's something that applies to you. I also like to say, and it's kind of hard to believe, but the longer I've been here, the more I realize it. We have about 3.5 million Phi Theta Kappa members and alumni internationally. And so a lot of times just listing Phi Theta Kappa membership on your resume is a boost in and of itself, because listing Phi Theta Kappa membership on your resume means that, one, you're a hard worker. Two, you take pride in the work you do. And so whoever is recruiting you or your HR director or future employer who's looking at your resume and they see Phi Theta Kappa membership, it means they know that you're a hard worker and you're a top student. So I just encourage you to explore more about our Phi Theta Kappa membership benefits and ask us questions. I hope the questions are still coming in. If I haven't answered one or more of your questions about membership, please go ahead and ask in the Q&A box or in the chat box. I know, Ryan, you've had some experience with applying for scholarships and receiving scholarships. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your experience with the scholarships.
Sure, absolutely. So one of the things that our chapter does is we always try to make sure that we're keeping our members informed about the scholarship deadlines, because there's a general application deadline, then sometimes there are scholarship specific deadlines. And so, and then we always, again, point people to ptk.org, because truly that website has everything that you could need. And if you can't find it there, that will get you to someone who does know the answer. And so in promoting those scholarships and promoting people applying for those scholarships within our chapter, we've had several people just this year actually receive the Coca-Cola Foundation Scholarship and some of the other ones as well. We've had someone receive the NCLEX Scholarship, which is for nursing school students. And so truly, I mean, your prospects are high, even if it might seem that you're just a drop in the bucket, you know, if everyone's applying for these things. I will say though, distinguishing yourself as a worthy candidate to receive these scholarships is a really interesting feat. And one of the best ways you can do that is by becoming a member, of course, and then by becoming an active member at that. So participating in as much as you can, serving as a chapter officer, a regional officer, taking on the projects, just being as engaged as you possibly can, because that will not only prove who you are, but that will help your chapter advisor or whoever might be writing a letter of recommendation for you. That's going to give them something to write about. And so definitely they go hand in hand. You could potentially be awarded a scholarship without doing any of those things, but your chances, I would say, are likely far higher if you have been an active member and you just have things to add to your application that will make you stand out.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. Our scholarships department is awesome here. So if you all have questions about scholarships, you should definitely call us or email us. And you can email scholarship.programs, plural with an S, at ptk.org if you have very specific questions about scholarships. But our scholarship team, they always say you should keep a scholarship resume. So just like you have a resume, a professional resume that indicates your job experience and your volunteerism, you should keep a scholarship resume that sort of keeps track of everything you're doing in terms of leadership positions, your involvement on campus, so that when you do become a Phi Theta Kappa member and you apply for scholarships, you can pull from your scholarship resume. A lot of the times we hear from students who wait to the very last minute to apply for scholarships, and I do not recommend that you do that. You should get an early start. And I love that Ryan addressed this, because I saw this question about how hard it is to get a scholarship. And you have to at least try. And we always tell people that on average, a Phi Theta Kappa member will receive $2,500 in scholarships. But you have to become a member and actually apply. You know, do the research, reach out to our scholarships team. We are really friendly. They're just as friendly as me and Melissa and Ryan and Erica. So ask us questions, and I hope that you all will consider this and consider it an investment in your future. Okay, the last slide we have here is just, again, our contact information. ptk.org/contact brings you to a submit a request form that goes directly to us in the membership services department. So if you have a question about anything, you can go to ptk.org/contact and fill out that email form, and we will be emailed and we'll respond to you as soon as possible. You can also call us or on an 800 number, or 601-984-3504 is our local Jackson number. If you all have any questions, I'm going to type in my email address in the chat box. And if anybody else is comfortable sharing an email address, please feel free to do so. So I will go ahead and type this in now. If you guys have any other questions, or if we didn't get to answer something, I want to say again, one, that we get a transcript of the Q&A and the chat, and we'll be happy to follow up with you. This was also recorded, so if you want to refer back to this as a resource, you should go to ptk.org/webinars, and there's a repository there of all of our webinars that we've done recently on accepting membership. So if any chapter officers are in the webinar room right now, I would love for you to just share this recording with prospective members. Direct your prospective members to talk to us, because we would love to recognize and honor you, especially as graduation is quickly approaching. We would love to see you in our PTK regalia and really honor you and recognize you for all the hard work that you've put in. I have talked a lot, and I'm gonna let Melissa, Ryan, and Erica, if you have any parting words. Melissa, do you wanna start? Do you have any last minute words you wanna share with the group?
If you haven't joined, I encourage you to join. You don't have to participate, but the more that you want to get out of your membership, being involved really is very beneficial. One of the things that I know personally about how Phi Theta Kappa can change a life is I have a daughter that was dual enrolled, became a member, and actually will be graduating next week from the community college, and received a lot of scholarships with Phi Theta Kappa, and we have benefited from that. And so I can personally tell you how it's changed her life as a person. She was an introvert, and she is coming out of her shell. She's talking more. She will actually go up to a teacher or instructor now, whereas before she would not. So Phi Theta Kappa does change your life. And so I do encourage you, if you have any doubt, just do it. You will really benefit from it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us. We're all here. And as Aariel mentioned earlier, we are a real live person. And when you call, you do get a real live person. So don't hesitate to call us and join.
Thank you, Melissa. Ryan or Erica, do you all have any last minute tips for anybody joining us?
Sure, I'd be happy to hop on. If I could say anything, Melissa mentioned calling. If that intimidates you, because I know phone calls can sometimes be intimidating, ptk.org is the answer. I just cannot reiterate it enough. For a while this semester, there was a time when I visited the website multiple times a day for whatever reason. And so it's there for a purpose. There's lots of information about the programs, about scholarships, about finding, there's an index where you can find your chapter advisor, find your chapter on your campus. Use that resource. And if you have a question after doing that, of course, there are wonderful people at headquarters who'd be more than happy to try to help you. And if I could say anything else, I would say that if you're on the fence, if you're questioning, I don't know if this is worth it, let me just tell you that as a student, it is. It truly is. It's yes, it's a resume booster, of course. I mean, it's an honor society, but more than that, it's an investment in your life. It's soft skills development. It's leadership development. It's academic development. I mean, it's any number of things. And these ladies have mentioned it. What you put in is what you get out. And so, but that all begins by saying yes. And so truly take that to heart, consider it honestly and sincerely. And if you guys have any questions, if I can be of any help to you, I put my email in the chat section. I'd be happy to get back to you, but really consider it. You stepped in, you said yes to the webinar, so the next yes is to membership. And I think that if you guys do that, you won't go wrong, and you'll recognize only later on down the line what it's meant to you and what it's done for you. And so that said, again, reach out if you have questions. I'd be happy to answer, and it's been great visiting with you all today.
Correct. Just to reiterate what everyone has already said, as mentioned earlier, membership fees, one-time membership fees. Membership lasts a lifetime, and with that being said, let PTK become a way of life, in which it has become for so many people who have taken advantage of it. It is not too good to be true. So we would love to have you guys again. If you have any questions, any concerns, please feel free to email us or call us. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you think of something, email us, help@ptk.org. I will see it the next day. So please join us. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. And I hope that you all gained some insight from this webinar. I hope that we've answered some of your questions or like eased some of your worries about joining Phi Theta Kappa. I know it's a big decision, but it is worth the investment. So with that, I don't want to take up any more time. So I appreciate everyone for joining us. And there will be a recording of the webinar posted at ptk.org/webinars. And I hope everyone has a great rest of the afternoon. Thank you. See you later.